afternoon, everybody. Here we are, tile 489. Is that right? Oh, yeah, just checking. Oh, gosh. You just sort of lose track of all these numbers, but no, it's great. Thank you so much, everybody, for continuing to do these with me. Of course, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing them. And I think it's a real nice thing, not just to sort of do the tile, but it's also got a community aspect, isn't it, we talk about. And it's just keeping up, you know, keeping up to date with people and saying hi. So hi, everyone, and here we go. Okay, what we're going to do today, I've got a pastel green tile from my Sorbet range, and I've inked it through, and I've actually used the Crafter's Companion, I don't know, the hybrids, the green one, and let it dry, and I've spritzed it. Thrown a bit of salt on it and let it dry completely. So, yeah, I'm going to come in with a bit of pencil to start with, and then we're going to see where that takes us, okay? So, I'm going to start in one of the corners, doesn't matter which. Let's decide, it really doesn't matter which. Let's go with this one. And I'm going to put myself a bit of a loop in, not too big. Sort of, you know, giving it a little bit of shape, a bit of interest on that bottom there. And then I'm going to do a few more rows. So I'm going to kind of start from the same point. I'm going to come up. Again, do this lightly because we might not see all the lines when we've done. So that's another one. Oh, let's do another one. Oh. It's a little bit off, don't matter. You know, so I feel like it's getting flatter as I go along here, and that's absolutely fine. So let's sort of run with that. See, a little bit flatter there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do another one. So coming back up, look, and along there, and into there. Okay, so as much as we've got a loop, we have got a flat sort of edge there. You could flatten those bits as well, I suppose, giving it that idea that it's almost bordering itself, isn't it? There you go. Okay, so far so good. So let's have a look at this. I'm going to come up from the point. I'm going to imagine. Let's have a look here. I've kind of got a line going through the middle, like so. Let's go up a little bit. See, just a line, nice light line. That gives me the starting point there. Then here, I'm going to come and split it in half, like that. And I'll do the same on this side. So I'm always working from that point. So it's coming out a little bit of a sense of distance. And then let's repeat. And so I'm going to split those two areas up too. Okay. And this one. And this one. All right, there we go. So let's start at this bottom section here. I'm going to come in with my pen. I'm going to put in that loop. So doesn't matter if it's a little bit different. You know, the pencil's there as a guideline, it's fine. And draw another one slightly inside there. There. Okay. So again, thinking the points at the bottom, let's put a line in there, and then I'm going to draw lines all the way around, and I want it to follow the shape of that loop all the way around. So you see I'm turning my piece as I'm going, creating that kind of an idea that it is moving around like that. Okay, and into that one, getting smaller. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Again, I'm going to follow it round. It's nice, isn't it, when you've got some ink in the background, it changes the design a little bit. You feel like you've got something already there working for you, but you're not on completely a blank piece of cardstock. So I'm going to bring my 05 pen in here. And it doesn't matter where we start here, but I want to fill in and have stripes going on. So along in those little bits there. It's just a little bit easier. I know they're kind of small here, but it's a little bit easier with a thicker pen there. So that's good. And we could always bring a white pen in later. So I can put my little line in there. Okay. But we'll see. So along we go. Into those bits. Oh. Kane's just brought me a cup of tea in. Yeah, Tommy's been training him. It's been interesting conversations in the kitchen, I'm sure. Okay, so that's our first little bit. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. But I want to work on this next bit here. I'm going to start again, kind of sort of central here. And what I want to do is, let's have a look, sort of either side. I want to do, see, this is kind of the middle. I want to create myself a bit of a loop, but you see that one goes that way. And then on this side, it's going to go that way. You notice it's thinner here. Let's put in that little line with a dot or two, so you can see where that is. And then if I was to put another one here, let me just do this in pencil, like this. You see, you're going to get quite a gap, aren't you? So I reckon we could fit another one in there. See how it kind of works? But I'm going to come in first and I'm going to put all the sort of shapes in that are sort of filling the space, and then I'm going to put the others in the background. So let's do another one there. See? And work my way around this way. They're going to get quite small. So almost bumps. See? And then this way, same again, look, I'm going to put those shapes in. See one there, look. I'll put one in there. So it's kind of the sort of moving, aren't they? They're going downwards. Let's do that one there. And then I'm going to bring in another one in between. Like that. See, I'm going to get two in between there, look. Doesn't matter. We just want sort of having these little funny shapes, and when they're too small you can put little bubbles in, you see. So I'm going to come in again and put these little shapes in. See, I'm going to get those little dots on the background there. It gives the idea that there's a little bit of depth there. Now if you can't fit two dots in, it's fine, just go for one. We'll make them smaller. See here, I'm going to move to one, and then it's going to have little lines in. It's whatever you can fit in. I didn't tell you what size to draw these, so I'm not going to be saying that you've got to get a certain amount in there. It's not a problem. So again, I'm going to bring my pen in here, my 05, and if there's any gaps, I'm going to fill it in with ink. So into that one. Now, as you get further down, you're not really going to kind of see much. I'm going to pretend there's a bit. Working my way along there. So this is why we wanted them kind of touching, because it'll look a bit weird if you try and do that without. Look at that. Okay, so let's have a look at the next row, this row here. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to put like more loops. But you see that one sort of come in the middle there. And I'm going to sort of ignore the sections here. I'm going to move around the piece and fill in as many into there without thinking they've got to be the same size or anything like that. You see, they get a little bit wider at the top, really. So I know we've got those guidelines. We don't need it for this one. Just made it easy to put them in at the beginning. Okay. All right. So you've got little gaps. Let's fill them in. I'm going to use my 3 for that because there's not much. Okay. So let's do, and again I'm going to start in this middle one. I'm going to put myself 1, 2 lines in. And let's do that, all of them. See? They don't all have to be exactly the same. And again, if yours are quite small, you're not going to get 2 lines. But on the other hand, if they're really big, then maybe you're going to get 3 lines. Having said that, I'm going with this. And you know, I know we do say use pencil if you want to, it's fine. But I think, you know, when you're drawing things like this, try it with pen, because trying to then go over all of this with pen afterwards, you just think, I could lose the will to live, couldn't you? You want to try and do it all at the same time. So I'm going to bring in my 05 again, and I'm going to fill in that middle section there. So I want a complete kind of, oh, that couldn't possibly have been a Sanntangler, could it? There we go. See, working along to there, on this one. Okay, there we go. So let's have a little look at that for a minute. Okay, quite a little design we've got going on there, haven't we? So let's have a look at this next one then. Next row round, and again I'm going to start kind of in this middle section, and I'm going to do loops. When I say loops, petal shapes, that kind of thing again. Again, I'm not going to really follow too much the sectioning off. I want to follow through, so I've got something going to the bottom there, and then I'm going to come round and do something similar on this side. You know, moving my paper as I go round and creating these little sections. Okay, and in and along there. And again, any little gaps, let's get those filled in just as we're going. Okay, all right. So 1 frame this time. Just following it through. Make that little bit of shape in there. Into that one. Just going to kind of keep it going as best I can to the bottom edge. And the same here. Into that one. And along. It doesn't take long, does it? You know, you could take a bit longer if you want to get these shapes going. Okay, look at that. So now I'm going to choose a side. No, I'm not, you know, not playing for a fight, anything like that, but I'm going to choose a side. So whether you choose the left or the right, once you've made that decision, I want you to stick with it. So being a left-hander, I'm obviously going to go for the right-hand side, and using my 05 pen, I'm going to come in and I'm going to make that side thicker. Okay, so just that side of it. See? So I'm kind of doing like a 2 rows there. You see? So here we go. And along there. So each one. Yeah. And then I'm going to follow through and do the same on this side. Okay, now you see that top bit, it's a little bit rough. I'm going to come back and neaten that up in a minute. I can do that with my 03. The main thing with this pen is putting that in. So let's put the lid on that. Let's go a little bit closer. You see it's looking a little bit scruffy around those edges. But we can come in, look, and neaten it up. That 3. I'm still not going around the whole thing, look. But you see where you've got that kind of little lip? Going to soften it off like that. See in there, I can round it a little bit more just to neaten it, giving it that little bit of sense that I wanted it to look like it's disappeared. There we go. So I'm going to put another shape in here now. Okay, and then I'm going to do another line, see, on the same side, in there, like so. Okay, along into that bit, giving me that shape. Okay, so let's have a look now at this bit round here. So let's go out a little bit. Now where we've got these construction lines, I'm going to draw them in with a pen. Now this is my 03, so it's a little bit finer, so that's fine. I'm going to kind of shape them around there as well. And the same along here. All the way around. Okay, so looking good so far. So what's next? Okay, let's have a look at this. Oh, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to start by doing a curve. So join one to the next, like so. One to the next. Okay. Wow, that's quite a large one there. Into there. Into there. That one. That one. And joining it to the bottom. Okay. I'm going to put like a little sort of a loop on the top. See, like that? And I'm going to fill that in with ink. Like that. Okay. And around. Along there. To that one. See, just sort of doing that on the edge of each one. And there. That's right. We're all looking strategically for a white pen in the place. Finding a white pen's quite difficult. Yeah, because I've got one, but I can't find it. Okay, here we go. Hey, oh, white pen. I know I'm going to need one. Oh, okay. So let's have a look at this shape. Let's have a look sort of at that top end. I'm going to look at getting another one, another two lines in there. So if I can join them. But this has helped me, doing this one like this, it's helped me to sort of gauge the space. Now down here I'm only going to get one in, look. But along here I'm going to get two because it's a little bit bigger. But that's okay, it just means that I'm thinking about it. You see there, look, I can get one in there. There's my two, and into there, to that one. See, it just kind of disappears around the back. Okay, so far so good. So let's have a look. Now we've got some lines here, and let's have a look. See, for this one, for example, it's sort of on top of this, and what I can do, I can bring it underneath like that, because that looks like it's hollow. So let's try another one. This one, look, goes underneath. And this one, can't really see it. This one you can. So let's look at this one. It's sort of in the centre there, so you're not going to see that. This one, you're not, it's there, see. This one, no. And this one, you're not going to see that either. This one, you are. And this one, you are. So it gives it that sense that it's moving and going underneath. But what we can do now, we've got that. And if you would rather do this in pencil first, let's have a look at it. I can add more of these shapes in. You see, because I've done all that in pen, I can come round here in pencil and I can determine where things are going to go. So let's have a look at that. Back in with my 3. So here, look, it's going to sit here, but it's not going to go across there because that's solid. Then along here. Now this one, you're going to see a little bit of it in there, look. So you can draw those sections in. Let's follow this through as well. So I'm drawing inside there and just on the bits I can see. And if I kind of remove those pencil lines now, let's have a look at that. You see, you've got this design coming through and underneath here. So let's do that again. I'm going to do it now without the pencil. See, that's going to sit there. You're going to see a bit of that one. Bit of that one. Bit of that one. It's coming in sort of there, isn't it? Then that one. So that's kind of follow through into there. So we've got a little bit of it coming through and underneath. So just at the bottom here on the inside, I'm going to add some little kind of bubbles because I don't want that shape to go all the way down. I just want to add a few in there. So to finish it off, you see some little bubbles going on. Okay, same in this bit, just a few in there, just to kind of finish it off. Okay, so I can remove now this shape around the edge. It's going to give me a little bit of a different edge there. You see, it looks a bit different. And coming kind of around this bit, let's bring in some more loops. So we're going to shape them slightly. I'm going to bring one this way and that way. Sort of almost water droplets, aren't they? I don't want these to be the same in both ways, but you see, we're just going to add a few in. So let's bring one out here. See, I've started the same way on both sides there. So this time I'm going to start that way, make it a bit different. Let's have a couple here. You see, kind of spacing them round and giving myself a little bit of a sort of a get out clause almost. If I put a few in all the way around, I can then decide if I want more. And if I don't, it's fine because I've got a few dotted around, you see. So let's look. I think actually that's kind of nice like that. But let's bring another little loop in. You see it's sort of kind of on its side. And each one sort of facing different ways. Bringing that shape in. To there. And this is working your way around. Along there. And then we'll have a look at that because what I want to do, that's not bad, is it? I'm going to stick with my three because they're kind of small and I'm going to fill in those outer sections there. Just an extra little bit of detail in that top edge. Working it round there. And into this one. So you could, and I think we will probably add a few bubbles around here as well, but you can add as many of these little loops as you want. It's whatever you want to do with them. Or you can leave them completely. You can do another one of the shapes we did here on the other side. Or you could even do this as, or take it as it's a quarter of a piece and you can do 3 more and have this design in the centre. Like a big flower. That would look really nice actually. Alright. So I'm going to just put a few tiny little kind of crayons. Let's just show you that a bit closer. Look. So they're almost like loops, but they're really in the distance. Really little bits flowing away. So I feel like I've got to do one on every one now, haven't I? See? Okay. Let's bring a bit of shadow in there. Let's see what this is going to look like with a bit of that in. So back to regular pencil. And first things first, we're going to start in that bottom edge. Let's have a look. See where I've got my darkness there, my thicker line? I'm going to bring some pencil in there. So I can do that as well inside these ones. So it doesn't matter what's in them. Add a bit of pencil in there. All on the same side. Working it round. And this bit. Okay. Let's bring the tortillon in and we'll do a little bit on that first. So I'm going to bring in, soften it, but not completely filling, see? Around there. And same thing in these. I'm going to keep working it round, see? Just not doing the whole shape, following the idea that we're leaving a little bit of a highlight there into those bits. Okay. So I'm going to bring my pencil and then I'm going to come around these shapes here. Okay. So again, I'm not taking it too sort of gently here. I'm making sure I've got some graphite on there. I'm pouring it in around those shapes. Definitely won't want to be in front of the other, so we're going to make that happen with shading. Okay. And again, let's soften it off with a little bit of tortillon action going on there, sort of bringing it around. I'm not taking it too far. It's a case I'm softening that line and leaving it there. Okay. Right. You see? Gives it a little bit of something. So I do have a bit of pencil there. You see, I'm just going to get rid of that. I don't want to see that there. So I'm going to work in the same way and I'm going to put some pencil around these pieces. So all over the top there, just like I did with the others. And I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to put some pencil here around those stripes. Okay. And then I'm going to come inside the line, do a little bit more. Don't go too far in. And the same on the other side, the stripes. Like so. Tiny little bit there. So let's follow this round, little swirls. So again, not trying to cover everything, just keeping it in that space there. Same with this one. See this one, I'm going around rather than swirling it too much. I'm kind of following the shape. Same with this. And in here. Okay, so I'm not moving it too far. And then this bit, a little bit of a highlight there. Okay. So far so good. So let's take the pencil again. The same kind of thing. You see where we've gone on the outside of everything? I'm going to do that on here too. So it's going around that shape. Again, not worrying too much about keeping a small amount of graphite. Let's get some on there. We want it to show up. Okay, here we go. Around this bit. And along. Okay. So, back to the tortillon. And again, soften it out. Working my way around. And into each piece there. See this, I can move it a little bit further out because of course we've got a bit of space. So that's absolutely fine, we can do that. And just making sure it's in those little corner points. Just this, let's have a little look at that. Okay, so back to pencil. We're ready for the next bit. Oh, look, the sun started to shine. It started to come through that murk we've had all day. So here we go. I'm putting some pencil on each of those lines, a little bit on both sides if you can. And then rather than do this kind of thing, I want to slightly curve it, so sort of folding it down. You see it's going that way and that way. So follow the curve, follow the shape as you work your way around. And again, I'm trying not to get so it's touching in the middle if I can help it. I want to leave a little bit of a highlight there. There we are, see, working it in. So along at the angle and smooth it off. Same here, let's get that going and then smooth it off, following that angle. There, to that wall. Okay, so far not so bad at all, but what I want to do is bring a bit of colour in. So I'm going to have a bit of a mix, I think. I've got my green tea here, and I think what I'm going to do is bring a bit of it in along this shape here. And because I've got sort of green and yellow ink going on in the background, let's have a look. It's not going to be sort of completely in your face kind of thing. It's going to be quite subtle there. So let's bring a little bit of meadow green in with it and add a little bit to that bottom edge. I don't want it to completely take over, but I do want it to have a bit of colour. Okay. So same kind of thing with, let's just use the meadow green, sort of along the bottom here. And this is happening sort of within that Tortillon shading. So I'm not going to try and completely colour them, just want a little bit of a hint there. So this brings us onto this row. And I think rather than sticking with green, I'm going to bring in, let's have a look, Locket Lane Orange. Love this one. And just add a little bit just to one side. It's just going to lift that colour a little bit. Okay, and again, because I've got that inking in the background, I can kind of get away with doing this, as it's not going to affect blending too much. Although, I'm going to bring a bit of Lumo yellow in as well. Do that on the other side. Wandering around there. So it kind of gives it a full, you see, got a bit of yellow in there. So let's have a little look at that. So you've got definitely now a bit of colour. So I want to do the same here. So I'm going to bring back my green tea and have a little bit of colour on that side. You see, you can kind of see it, but it's not taking over the whole thing. Just giving it a hint. Okay, just on those you can see, of course. Got that little hint. And then at the bottom, bringing in that meadow green again. And just having a touch of it at that bottom. So I'm not trying to blend it particularly, because my pencil shading's already done that. Just a little hint. So black pencil, of course. Now you could use, I'm going to come with my regular pencils now if I've got it. It's one of the things I've got. There you go. 2 tins here, they're all over the place. Okay, so first things first, where I've got between this loop and this loop, I'm going to bring a little bit of blackness in there. You see the difference already? Now you can do this with a pen, and we've done that in the past, but we've got plenty of pen on here, and I think being that pencils are already available, I'm going to do it with that. Just make sure it's not too blunt. You want to get into those points. Okay. You see how that now really sort of stands out, doesn't it? But just so for the sake of it, we can bring the 03 look, and let's go back over these. Go round the tops. It's not particularly going to add more shadow. It's just going to make sure that those shapes are defined around that top edge. So you could do this as well. There's a couple of techniques in there, see? Well, I didn't go over any of that, so I don't need to re-establish that. But I think certainly these lines here, let's bring that pen back in. I don't want it too thick that it takes away from everything else, so I'm not going to use my 05. I am going to put that blackness back in there. Okay. So I'm going to bring in my white pen after I spent all that time trying to find one. Okay, did, to be fair. And I'm going to come around. Let's just go in a little bit. I'm going to come around this shape here into that one. You see you got that white line. And then same with this one. And I'm going to join it at the top there, so it's straight over. Don't try and do too many lines, keep it to one. And then where we've got these shapes here, I'm going to again choose a side, put a little highlight in. So highlight is just like a little line, or it could be a dot. There's nothing crazy busy there, nothing technical in that. And then see where we've got these bubbles, come in and see where you've got the larger ones. I'm going to fill them in so they're more noticeable there when we sort of lose the graphite within them. Okay. Alright, so I think as well I'm going to come in with a couple of little bubbles here. Now they're not going to be sort of really noticeable in a sense, but I'm going to know they're there. So if you've got a coloured tile, you can do this. If you've got a white one, there's not really much point. You might want to do this with a regular pen. But it's just adding that little hint. See, the darker the tile is, the more the white's going to stand out there. So putting a few in, really nice. And then depending on your beads, that ones that you've got here, you could add a highlight to those as well. But it depends on the size of them. I'm going to do that in a minute. You see the difference there, that white's made. So let's come in and see, have a little highlight on each of them. Tiny little dots. Makes all the difference though. And that one. And that one. Alright, let's have a little look at that. I think before we do, I just want to come back with my pen and go back around this line here. Okay, so, I mean, we've got plenty of shading going on there, but I want to see that line there is black particularly. And the same on the inside here. And make sure that it's definitely a black line, okay? Let's have a little look. And then all that's left, I think, yeah, look at that. Okay, oh, I think actually being that I've got a white pencil, see this bit here? Let's add a little bit of white in there. Just to bring it out. Maybe if you've got any little bits in those, I think that'll just help it out there. This is a regular white pencil. I've not got my chalk out today. And a little bit down the sides. It's slightly more subtle than the pen. I'm not going to put a white line down these, but just giving it a little bit of highlight there. And there we go. Number 489, done and signed. So with that done and sorted, have a lovely day for the rest of it. Don't forget you've got your tiny tile that we did this morning as well to keep up with, and enjoy it. Okay, see you later. Bye.